Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode 2 of Root Beer Library, where we wear the frothy stash. Alright, so today in episode 2, we're going to be taking a look at another Virgil's, but I found this on the shelf this morning. It's something I've actually kind of been looking for a little bit. It is their zero sugar root beer. It's new for them, so we're going to be taking a look at that. And then Boylan Bottling Company. These guys have been around since, I believe it was 1891. They started off doing, it wasn't a ginger root, but it was another type of root that they sold as an elixir back then, and they've grown into what we know today, which is this particular bottle, and they do a number of different flavors, but of course they've got a wonderful root beer flavor. So we're going to jump in and taste these guys, but beforehand I want to give you a bit of background on me, because this is episode 2. In episode 1, we talked a little bit about why or how this idea came about, and that was in regards to a kind of something that Gary Vaynerchuk put out there. I want to say it was close to a year ago. I looked through his videos to try and find it specific so I could show it to you guys, and I found one where he talked about root beer, and that was about 2 years ago, and I didn't finish watching it, so I'll finish it, and maybe it was in that, and I just watched it about a year ago, or thought it was a year ago, not sure. But he talked about, the question came up like, what is there left to do on YouTube? What could you do? And one of his things was like, no one's ever done a root beer review channel, kind of like his wine library. So here we go, root beer library. So that's where this kind of concept and everything came from. I took what he talked about and kind of watched, and yeah, no one was doing it. Kept sitting on me like, hey, I was doing other things, but like I said yesterday, basically 2-3 days ago, I said let's run with it, and here we are. So a little bit about me, and then we'll get into tasting these wonderful root beers, especially before they get warm. So my name's Matt, so we'll get that out there, and I should probably do my opening with a little bit of that, but my name's Matt. I am a full-time home inspector. That's my main source of income. This is a side gig. This is my hustle, as Gary would say, as others would say, it's my hustle. I also have another channel where I review products, so a little pitch for that one, that is called Reviews by Matt. There you go. You had other names over the last few months, but it kind of settled on Reviews by Matt. We predominantly look at things in the darting community, throwing darts. We look at darts and darts-related materials, but we do other items we think the darting community would like, skateboards, bikes, games, other things that we just think the darting community, the people in the darting community would like. We do some outdoor related items as well. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. I am married, have a couple kids. My kids, you will potentially see on some of these as they want to kind of dive into kind of playing with this. They're huge fans of Ryan's Toy Review and Blippi, and so we watch a ton of that stuff in our household, and so they want to get in front of the camera, and we've talked about this being an apparatus for that, because they are 4.5 and almost 3. It's probably not their gig outside of just helping Dad out. So you'll get to see them at some point. Alright, so there's a little bit about me, a little bit about how this all got started. Let's go ahead and jump in to tasting some root beers. So I have a love of root beer, always have since I was a young kid. That was my favorite go-to soda if I was going to drink a soda. And always Coke, Pepsi, you know, kind of always liked those, but Dr. Pepper was a big hit for me for a while, but I will say that there was always, if root beer was around, that was where I was gravitating to. Back then we didn't have a whole lot of the micro brews or different smaller breweries, but there were some. I grew up primarily in Scottsdale as a young man, moved back to California, which is currently where I'm at, in high school. But in those younger years, we did have a couple ice cream shops by us that carried a decent variety of root beers, and so that is something that's always sat with me. Here locally, we used to have a shop that carried a lot of, it was a Rocket Fizz, so if you're familiar with those, they carried a number of them, and they would actually bring in some additional ones for me. They have since closed, and it's been hard to find root beers, even though there's all these little stores around. They all typically carry just what everybody else is carrying. So, sourcing this stuff is going to be fun. That's going to be part of the challenge, something we do here on this channel. Let's go ahead and get into it. I know you guys didn't come here to hear me ramble. Let's taste some root beer. We're going to start with the Virgils. I think I did that yesterday, but I'm going to do that again. We're going to give them the Chiefs mug. Again, my two favorite mugs to drink out of. This is like, I got this like in the 80s or early 90s. And then a buddy of mine, Victor, got me this from Boston. It is from Cheers, and I love that mug. But we're going to throw Virgils, which we got in a can instead of a bottle. I don't even know if this comes in a bottle. I probably should know that. But let's taste this thing. I do like the sound of a pop of a can. By the way, they say here beforehand crafting was a thing. Virgil's had a vision to create a refreshing beverage that tastes like something not of this world, even heavenly. Virgil's expertly blends the finest natural ingredients, including licorice, vanilla, cinnamon, sweet birch, molasses, nutmeg, and several natural oils and spices to create this award-winning root beer. So again, this is their zero sugar. So, I mean, it's zero sugar, but it doesn't say that it's got any funky, artificial, sparkling, natural. This is natural sweet blend. So there's some stevia in here, and monk fruit for sweetener. Let's go ahead and give this guy a pour. See, when they're in cans, you get the more frothiness than from bottles. Not 100% sure why. But you do get more of that from the cans than you do from the bottles. I don't have my spit cup yet, so we'll, I can already smell the spices. I need to get a spit cup. I told my wife about a spit cup today, and she kind of laughed at me like, what, are you really going to spit in a cup? I said, yeah. That smells good. I'm going to have to compare the Virgils to Virgils. We'll do that one down the road. It's got a good spicy. Smell that vanilla, and the licorice is really, really coming out. It smells good. Yuck. Okay, I get it's zero sugar. So like my dad, who's a diabetic, he's going to love this stuff. I bought him some of it. Those of us that can deal with sugar, I'm not a fan. I'll just be straight up honest with you. The smell is phenomenal. I mean, I can sit here and just sniff this all day. The first, when it hits my palate, when I first start getting it, it tastes like root beer. It tastes really good. But then all those fake sweeteners hit, and maybe it's just my palate, but I hate those things. They kill flavor, in my opinion. This went from nice flavor when it first hit to nothing. As soon as that kicked in, the sweetness, hit my tongue and really got in there. It just kills the. Right now, there's this after taste. It's just not. It smells good though. I'm just not a huge fan. It's not horrible, It's not horrible, but I will say that the Virgils always leaves a little bit of a funky aftertaste for me. I normally pair the regular Virgils up with ice cream, but yeah, that's going to go down as a not purchasing again for me. But if you happen to not be able to do sugars, if you're diabetic, it's got a phenomenal smell. And since you're used to these off sugars, these sugars that aren't real sugars, or these natural sugars, stuff that come off a leaf, I recommend trying it and giving your palate a taste on that one. Not something I will be purchasing again, other than to give to my dad. not my cup of tea. All right, let's dive into something that's going to probably be way better, and just because it's got cane sugar in it. The Boylan carbonated water, cane sugar, natural and artificial flavors, caramel color, sodium bentonite, and citric acid. Sodium bentonite, not one of my favorite products, but hey, what are you gonna do? Here's a little bit more information in regards to the heritage of the Boylan bottling. So in 1981, Boylan bottling story starts in 1981. 1981. How about 1891? Boylan bottling story starts in 1891 when a pharmacist named William Boylan created an elixir in Paterson, New Jersey. He named that serum a derivative of birch trees, Boylan's birch. So it was part of a birch tree, a birch root, birch bark also, and began selling individual cups from a barrel in the back of a wagon. So 1891, basically it was an elixir you could buy off the back of a wagon. We've all seen that show before, but it matured and became, root beer and flavors, and I think they got something like 12 or 15 soda flavors that I believe they do. We will dive into those down the road. We are root beer library, so we will be doing more root beer stuff, but of course we'll showcase some other sodas and things down the road. Plus my kids have already been hitting me up to do some of that. So let's, is this a twist off? Yeah. Let's get into this. That smells good. It's not as spicy as that one. Let's get it in here. See what I'm talking about? From the frothiness, the bubbliness. Something about glass versus the aluminum. I assume it's how they pressurize them. But that'll be something fun for us to investigate and find out a little bit more about. Man, this smells good. This smells more like root beer than that. This has got that sugar, and that's getting into my nose. Yeah, there's that sweet smell. I'm going to kind of do the wine thing here. Whee! I know that with red wines really helps bring some air and stuff and bring the smell out. It's got a really good sweet spiciness. Licorice is kind of in there. I want to say there's some vanilla. Definitely a vanilla in there. Yeah, much smoother. Not that aftertaste. It's kind of got like a cotton candy aftertaste. It's been a while since I've had theirs. Really, there's this nice cotton candy. It's sweet, but it's really not. It's not overly powering. It works well with the spices. Yeah, that's good. Because I'm drinking root beer, I really need to have something to spit this stuff into, because drinking up this stuff, calorie counts, sugar counts through the roof on this stuff. But hey, every once in a while, it's great to have. I mean, why not? I mean, this has got, where's my sugars? Sodium's 35. I mean, it's not healthy. Let's just be honest about it. Root beer it's not a healthy drink. We don't grab this and say, hey, let's throw back a couple root beers for health purposes. We do it because we want something nice and cold and sweet to enjoy occasionally. But so that I don't turn out to become an extremely large person or larger person, I'm going to have to watch. Yeah, we have 42 grams of sugar, which seems to be an average number on root beers, as I've noticed over the years. But man, that's good. I'm still tasting this. It's like cotton candy. Really, really like that. I don't need to have any more because I got it hanging out there. All right, guys. So there we have it. We did 2 more today. This knocks off a couple more on our list of 365 that we're going to be running through. Now I know Virgil's was on there. We'll probably have Virgil's a couple of times because they've got a couple of variations of root beer. And eventually we'll dive into some of their other flavors as well as the Boylan. Okay, it's like 10 o'clock at night. I can't talk. Man, it smells really good. So there you go. These 2, I'm going to go with a no on that for me personally. But again, if you can't do the sugars, recommend it because it's got a really nice smell. It's probably going to work in your palate. You're going to be used to the sweetness or the lack of sugar, but the sweetness that it has, and you'll probably like it. Not for me. This right here, I haven't had in a while. I only bought 1 bottle, but I might have to get a couple more and just put them away because this was really flavorful and quite enjoyed it. So, well, thank you guys for hanging out with me on episode 2 of Root Beer Library, where we wear the frothy stash, and we will get some frothy stashes going here eventually. Please don't forget to like and share, hit the bell down below so you know when we do a new episode, which should be fairly often, a couple times a week. We will get kids involved. We're going to take trips. We're going to do things. We're going to drive up to A&W. We're going to have a lot of fun on this channel. Please leave comments down below. Leave constructive criticism. I'm down for that. Tell me I suck. Tell me, if you tell me I suck, tell me where I can get better. Just don't leave you suck, because that doesn't help anybody. Tell me where I can get better. Tell me what you would like to see me do in regards to tasting, what other things are out there, not just what you'd like to see me do. Let's enjoy this and have a fun community talking about root beer. Thanks, guys. See you on the next one. And again, my name's Matt, and this has been episode 2 of Root Beer Library. Thanks.